you talked about the mercy dance, and one thing you talked about is not having appropriate outrage. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Not having appropriate outrage. So when we have the justice and the mercy, that dance, the tension between, where it's not either or, it's both and. So a couple of things with that. Strictly from a victim perspective, being told to not be mad about it is one of the worst things you can do to a victim. Someone who is the victim of abuse, someone who's been sinned against greatly, needs to not only be told that God is outraged on their behalf, but that they are free to be outraged against the sin. Forgive the sinner, be outraged against the sin. And they need to see the people around them stand up and say, I am so angry that that happened to you. One of the most healing things you can say to someone who has been greatly sinned against is that you are furious in a healthy, sanctified outrage that this was something that they had to experience. Because that's God's heart. Now, we look back at the Old Testament, and again, a lot of people, I have friends who have lost their faith over the Old Testament because they cannot reconcile this sense of this God as a tyrant. And I don't see God that way. When I look at the Old Testament, I see a God who says, how dare you mess with my kids? And until you become a parent and you've seen some other little punk kid messing with your kid and you want to go over there and you're like, no, I'm a grown-up. I'm not going to do that to somebody else's kid. But that heart of God, these are his kids. And the devil and those who were following the devil were manipulating and deceiving and pulling his kids away from what was keeping them healthy and safe. Don't mess with my kids. You may have made your decision for evil. Don't mess with my kids. I see the heart of God in the Old Testament as one of a parent who wants to keep his kids safe. And boy, I could relate to that. So that outrage, we short circuit the healing process when we tell victims not to be mad. Or we tell them, God just has a plan, all things happen together for good. Shut up. God did not intend you that pain. He may bring beauty from it, but it was not his desire for you. Okay, I could keep going on that for a while. Next question.